Okay, good afternoon, good morning, and good night for everyone from the global audience. Today, I'm going to introduce open source project, which we initiated with a couple of crypto leading organizations to collaborate on sourcing metadata for blockchain. And we want in this slide, well, I think I will contain three parts. First one, I will introduce the business background of this project. And also after that, I will give a brief introduction regarding the architecture. Then lastly, I will introduce why we think choosing TiDB Serverless as a good choice for this open source project. From 0 to 1, maybe we'll be ready for our future growth to 2 to 95. Okay. Here we go. Before the main content, let me please bear with me. Let me introduce our company and our project. Our Chaintool, we define ourselves as a blockchain metadata and application company. Our primary focus is to enrich the metadata for the industrial. And on one side, we also building some application with metadata, for example, anti-money laundering compliance for the industrial as solution as well. And the Microscope Protocols is an open source project, which is sourcing the blockchain metadata, aiming to facilitate collaboration for this objective. Okay, we're talking about metadata. I think there are simple words, maybe people more familiar with is called label data. About what the metadata actually is. It's additional information associated with address protocols activities. I think most people who dealing with blockchain analytics, they understand the blockchain transaction data alone is not enough to generate insights. You have to combine the transaction data with metadata in order to generate a useful story. Okay, when we're talking about creating metadata, there are a bunch of categories we can choose from. Some of them from the chain regarding the entities like bridging, miner, mixers, oracles, you name it. And some of them about the behavior or characteristics of the address or protocols, like someone involved in money laundering, we label it as a money laundering. Someone is a power user of lending protocols, we label it as lending. Okay, and there are multiple ways of collecting data to create this metadata. We summarize them into four types. The first one, ground truth. The ground truth data is you must have the verifiable evidence to back up your assignment of labels. For example, if you claim the address belonging to Binance, you have to actually make a transaction with it. That's kind of considered as verifiable evidence. Also, can come in from inference. For example, you have some machine learning model. You understand some of the business transaction patterns. You create some heuristic rules to cluster multiple addresses together. They cluster, they share some metadata. We call this inferenced. Also can be coming from third party. You Skype, Telegram, or Twitter. Right now we call it X. It's kind of a social platform. We can find some of the fraud or scam address. The last one and the most important might be considered as the most important one in current situation is from regulators. When people dealing with anti-money laundering, maybe they heard about there is a government agency called the OFAC that periodically release some of address tell us this is an unsanctioned list of US government. We have to align with it. Okay. Given that brief introduction, the metadata actually the amount of users need the metadata, including investor and traders, investigator. I will actually, in the next slides, I will introduce some of the examples and a scenario which we will actually use the metadata. Metadata is very critical. And in this slide, I introduced just three of them. Actually, they just represent a subset of all the possible use case. First one is competitive analysis. For example, you are just a founder of a protocols. I think it's very important to design an effective and token incentive plan. The first step you have to do, actually, you have to investigate or study similar protocols. What the power user looks like. You have to understand their persona. The persona actually can be extracted from the transition, interaction, and their metadata. For example, some people, maybe they have strong, frequent interaction with gaming protocol, mediocre interaction with social. So this guy, you can describe his profile like a strong in gaming, mediocre in social, none in lending somehow. So once you have persona, you have to use metadata, find the future similar users, and you suppose design your protocol incentive, target them with priority. The second use case is trading. Like we get into the crypto market several years, we observe some of patterns. One pattern is like there is inflow, outflow of certain crypto assets to or from exchanges. This money movement definitely will impact the crypto market price. And also the newly minting of stablecoin can be interpreted as ingesting of external fund. And also that will impact the entire sector, could be. So therefore, as a quantitative investor, maybe you will create some metrics around this two patterns. And I think this metrics will definitely will guide you investment decision. Okay, last one I think is most well-known one. It's more like you can call it a security investigation or compliance investigation. We just give an example. For example, you are just a security engineer of a protocol, which unfortunately recently suffer in exploits. So there are a bunch of your crypto assets has been stolen. According to the normal hackers' agenda, they will try to move their fund to exchange as soon as possible to cash out. If you have metadata enough, you can trace down the fund, and fortunately, you can find some of the to find the crypto and actually end up in some specific crypto exchange, for example, Binance or Coinbase. If you have the actually know the exact exchange, you can contact their compliance team and provide your evidence. You have a very decent chance to recover them if you move quick enough. And you have the precise or accurate metadata to tell you where they are. Okay, that's some example. And I think most of the team, they are doing the analytic for blockchain. They understand it's very important to have metadata, and also most of the team have some amount of this type of data, but they unfortunately do not have enough. Therefore, they are looking for a metadata service provider to help them to have full set of information to generate a full story. But after analyzing the industrial, the current provider, I think we think there is a gap to actually meet the user needs. Here are the pinpoints. The first, low trust on data quality. Maybe some metadata service provider come to us, tell us this address you are looking for actually belonging to Coinbase. Should I believe it? Why should I believe it if they do not have evidence to reveal it? And also maybe the other data service actually can come to us to tell us as the same address actually controlled by OKX. We encountered the situation exactly in the past. So who I should believe it? And the second pinpoint is lack of standard. Even I think the most important application of or maybe not important, but the most popular application of this industry is crypto exchange. Even for this big use case, there are multiple ways to naming the exchange. One call it CX, one call it DX. Actually, these two naming is good. They are distinctive. But someone come up with exchange. Does exchange equal to CX or exchange a superset of two? So kind of confusing. And the third is a multiple integration because current no single data service provider can provide the enough diversity of data and provide enough coverage, the diversity to meet our needs. Therefore, we have to count on multiple one. And the hardcore, the overload, the workload to multiple to integrate them, it kind of expensive. The last one is a centralized service, because all of them right now is centralized. If they wouldn't done the business, your business logic depend on them could be at least will be paused for a while, right? Unless you find the replacement. Okay, the so-called pain points from our thinking might be just a phenomenon of caused by a root cause. The root cause is that actually collecting high quantity metadata is very expensive. And let's zoom out for a while. Let's look at the entire landscape of metadata service provider. We think the current arrangement is not efficient for the industry, actually. Here are our reasons. First of all, is duplicative efforts. Because of data service, they want to claim their minimal usabilities. The most cost-effective way is to cover most active address. The most active address one actually are the bigger exchange. And almost all the effort, all the data service providers, they will cover them. They cover them well, most of the time. But I think this kind of lack of coordination or lack of then the over duplication kind of wasteful for the resource if we stand from the industrial value view. And the second one is stored data. Because of the lack of coordination, lack of collaboration, had been focused on subset, and we do not have enough bandwidth to keep up with newly created address, and this problem can be. When did you guys lost the voice from me?
Probably 15 seconds, I guess.
15 seconds. So let's just speed up. Yeah, I think the last reason is because of the inefficiency is a centralized service. Because we count on single providers. If the business went down, we lost the dependency. Okay. Because of this kind of lack of efficiency and some pinpoints of current providers, we assemble a team, software engineering, researcher, blockchain researchers, and data scientists and product managers from multiple organizations. We form a vision. Our vision can be summarized as the following. We build a standard taxonomy that's very fundamental for make us collaboration possible. And we make our metadata and schema transparent. In our schema, we indicate the resource and provider. The source can be, if the ground truth is from inference, different source indicate a different quantity of data. And providers, if the data provided by Chaintool, if the data provided by Coinbase, we specifically tell it, since people, they can make a decision, oh, who should I trust more? Third one, we build the decentralized arrangement. All the members of this project have a copy of data to set up a host to serve our access, make our 24/7 accessible. And the last one, I think most important, we want to make our project to become the go-to place. Whenever the team have metadata, they want to redistribute, or they need some metadata, they can come to us. We want to make ourselves become the go-to place. And then last one, I think in long run, we want to make our project open to everyone, and hopefully it will become practically free for everyone to access. Here we go. There is our roadmap. And I think we can summarize what we had done. We've started our business, this project, beginning of this year. We do three things as very important achievements. The first one, we iterate metadata taxonomy. Since different organizations, they have a different design of taxonomy. We want to make our taxonomy comprehensive enough to cover almost all the application analytic use case. And also we want to make our taxonomy, there is making it flexible enough. We have a decision, iteration, and pipeline. Whenever there is a new category to be introduced, we will test it, and we will make sure it is worthwhile to introduce for a long run. And also there is data quality assurance. Data quality assurance is most important. Data quality. There are a lot of organizations, they claim they have a bunch of data, but actually we don't know what's the percentage of data from inference. We didn't see inference is bad. Actually, About some of the use case, we need the 100% kind of very certainty data, for example, the compliance side. And also we design the pipeline, we build all the essential software to easily to set up a pipeline to onboarding the new partners. And in the near future or long future, I think we will scale up our contributors. Right now, it's more like 3 to 5 partners. All of them have a good reputation, arguably good reputation in the crypto industry. In the long run, we want to introduce more since there's a bunch of team. They have their set amount of data very decent. We want to provide them, invite them to join us. But given them, we have to design reputation score to somehow quantify the data quantity. Also, we want to promote good actors. And also, we want to design the mechanism to receive feedback from the industry. Maybe some people tell us their label is not correct. That can be considered as constructive feedback. We want to utilize that information to improve our data as well. Okay, that's a summarization of our roadmap. Here we go, where we are now. On the left-hand side, we just have some numbers to showcase what's the amount of data we have. We have over 200 median data. Median address had been labeled. The address here, I want to highlight. Maybe some address can appear on the Ethereum and Arbitrum together. We counted them twice because the transaction on different network can be differently. Therefore, we counted them twice. And we support 33 networks, 95 categories, and we cover over 60 billion transaction over, I think it's average counting. And right now, our address coverage can be somehow very concentrated. It's like 80% from Bitcoin, 70% on Ethereum. I think the number should be changed a little bit. Okay, and the partners right now, we have 5 of them. Is Coinbase, Circle, Mesera, Chaintool, Go Plus. The order is just random. Don't interpret. The last one is sponsor. PingCAP actually is our sponsor at the beginning of our project. PingCAP offers the infrastructure for us. Yeah. Okay, after introducing our open source project, what we had done and what's our roadmap. And here is a very simplified architecture of our project. There are 2 sides you can looking from. The one left-hand side is contributing side, right-hand side is a consuming side. And the right-hand side is a hidden contributor. They're more like a small selection. We have very good track record of data quantity. They have they can set up their own data pipeline and have full access to the TiDB, our database. And also there are torso and tail contributors. They go through in a distributor. The distributor is responsible for the first stage data quantity governance. And for the regular consumer, they are not necessary to be the contributor. Therefore, they have a dedicated access portals. We support both batch and query access. If you want to generate some analytic insights, you can use batch query. And also, if most of the use case, you just want to looking up the metadata of a specific address, you just use a single query, single item query API. Yeah. And all of our developed software, you can find our GitHub. Yeah. The link is in the slides. Okay, I think maybe this is mostly exciting slides for today's conversation under this thing. I think when as a startup, when we're choosing infrastructure, there are a bunch of consideration in my mind. The first of all is cost. I think building a startup is very resource constraining regarding the engineering bandwidth, financial resource, particularly for the startup. We're starting in the so-called winter of crypto. I think it's very cautious whenever we deciding investing something. And even though when we deciding which infrastructure to choose from, I think normally we have multiple factors to consider. But honestly speaking, we have to ranking them. But I think cost is actually the top of the priority most of the time. particularly some of the in winter. And easy to use, I think quite important. I think because our contributor actually have very diversified background. Some of the analysts, some of the data managers, some of data scientists, some of engineers, they have different depth of engineering efforts and capabilities, and also they have different fluence of SQL language. I think if we have a good tool which requires zero learning curve, is a good choice. And the future proof, I think at the beginning of the project is kind of somehow you can consider as a toy project. It might be just have a single digit TPS requirement, but in long run, everybody wants at least we have an ambition to build as a very impactful project. I think we want to make sure if our project success, we hope we will not refactor our infrastructure when it becoming mature. So we want to make sure that current choice can be considered as a future proof. That is some of my consideration when I make a decision. Right now, it's more like why we choose TiDB. I think regarding cost, TiDB pricing, I think program is very tailored for the growth project. It means if we just start a project, they provide some type of premium program to make sure if we project is at the beginning stage is kind of free. Also, in long run, we look at the table. The pricing formula is very straightforward. There is no any hidden fee and easy for us. Okay, we design the future. The bandwidth would be next one. The storage would become several terabyte. And we want to make sure we support this bandwidth from a single digit TPS to become the over 1,000 TPS. And very easy for us to calculate the future price would be. So I think that's very easy for us to make a decision. Okay, how would be the future look like? Then also the TiDB very easy to use. Almost the way when I dealing with the TiDB, I didn't read any manuals. It's very intuitive, and they hide all some of non-necessary lab or boats. I just focus on what I want to do, and also whenever we need support, we want to tweak some parameters, we can contact them. Virtually, I feel that like they provide the 7/24 support, but actually I think because they have multiple teams, some team in Asia, some teams in North American, that can be considered as a 24/7. Yeah. And also it's a kind of future proof. TiDB Serverless, I think it's very hard to build a system. It's require, I think, multiple years building. I think whenever someone come up with a new system, it's the feature highlights is easy to claim, but the reliability need actually business to battle test. I think TiDB had been purchased by Pinterest, my previous employer. I heard a good voice from them. So I think they have a very good maturity. And the TiDB, the serverless is reliable, and I think the reason the pricing is easy to predict and the pricing is affordable because they have very good advanced elasticity algorithm to make the system can handle from very small TPS to very large TPS. Okay, that's my some of sharing regarding our open source projects and my decision-making metrics when we choosing infrastructure and why we choosing TiDB as our options. Okay.
I'm going to move to the next topic, and it will be me to introduce our progress on how we empowering Web3 business with our serverless database offering. So in case you don't know me, my name is Xing. I'm the product manager working on TiDB Serverless. Let's first talk about the challenges on Web3 data industry. Like Dr. Yi just shared, the decentralized nature of Web3 leads to a vast amount of data distributed across different chains. This complexity and the volume data contributes to the significant challenges in terms of data aggregation, data storage, and data processing. And Web3 also involves a variety of blockchain technologies and decentralized platforms. Ensuring seamless integration between these diversified systems for data exchange and usage is also quite challenging. Also, the dynamic and often real-time natural Web3 transactions actually demand the immediate processing and analysis of the data. That means you have to handle some of the real-time data processing work for your business. Of course, security compliance, that's how Web3 started. With the increased focus here, ensuring the data security privacy becomes more complicated. Web3 must be thinking about, balance the openness with the robust security protocols and also protect against, possible data leaks and privacy breaches. Is in a distributed environment, maintaining data consistency and reliability is also quite challenging. So data consistency, reliability is something you have to deal with when you're dealing with cross-chain data transactions and smart contracts. That's really a critical challenge. Last but not least, scalability and cost efficiency. Given I think the economic situation here as Web3 platform grows, we must scale effectively without incurring unpredicted cost. That makes everybody need to think about how to build, how to select the underlying technology, including database, to provide a cost-effective architecture. So that actually innovate our company to think about what we can provide, what we can empower in Web3 industry. So today people care about to build a product delivered to their customers as quick as possible, and they want high performance and scalability. Security, privacy, reliability definitely should be provided by design. And of course, with all these requirements, we are thinking maybe, we need to really thinking hard to help the customers to achieve lower total cost of the ownership. So our strategy is perfectly aligned with our customers. What we want to meet with developers, especially for Web3 developers, they are looking for. And the serverless, TiDB Serverless is our answer to Web3. It's actually MySQL compatible, and it's a distributed SQL database, which means you can seamlessly migrate your existing data to our TiDB Serverless. It scale up and down to meet your workload demands. So in case something unpredicted happens, you got a spike traffic, TiDB Serverless react that in real time, response that in real time. And it can simplify your overall architecture because we support hybrid transactional and analytical, which we call HTAP. So we support this kind of mixed workloads for your both transactional and analytical requirements. Pay as you go is the pricing model we are offering, so you can easily control your budget. Of course, comparing to our competitors, TiDB Serverless, our pricing model, I would say is quite competitive among this industry. Lastly, the company keeps innovating, and we are introducing open AI technologies inside our system. You can see lots of AI-assisted enhancements that really boost your development speed. So most importantly, is we are proudly to say is built on top of our open source TiDB project. Is already trusted by thousands of enterprise customers from various industries. So we believe this technology, like Dr. Yi just shared, will benefit lots of Web3 projects. So let's look into some of the details. First of all, let's talk about the traditional Web3 MySQL architecture. So basically, we have application layer connect to the provider through a signer, indicating the transaction authorization. The data layer is somehow fragmented across multiple MySQL shards, each with a primary and secondary for replication. This setup is aimed at scaling wide operations across the different database shards. However, if you had experience maintain this one, it's actually significant overhead of managing multiple database instances. On the blockchain side, we are seeing multiple, nodes ensuring the smart contracts. That means tons of data coming through from there. Maintain the database to support a huge amount of data from the blockchain, from customers' wallet, like the metadata, is tons of effort. But with TiDB serverless, definitely, it's just as simple as you can see here. We offer horizontal scalability without the complexity of manual sharding. So the application provider signer setup remains, ensure the secure transactions. TiDB Serverless handle the data management, offering a single unified database layer that can expand automatically based on the data from the blockchain side. In summary, we are moving from a complex, manually managed sharding system to a streamlined, automatically scalable serverless database architecture. If you choose in TiDB, once you do that, it can facilitating a more efficient and cost-effective Web3 underlying infrastructure for your business. So here is a video which tells exact the real demo. We handle the real-time traffic. It shows how we automatically scale up and down to meet your workload demands in real time. So here you can see once we have higher RU request unit, once we have the higher query per second, it will automatically scale up to meet your workload needs. And you can see the peak QPS is about 1.3 million per second. That's a huge number. So which means you can serve millions of customers in 1 second, millions of transactions in 1 second. That definitely meet where our Web3 industry's requirements. And it can actually scale down. So which means if you have, I would say, time that you don't have much traffic, this system can save you a lot of cost. So next thing, another typical scenario in Web3 is data processing architecture. Usually, like a lot of Web3 application, you have multiple data sources. You are building a web application, a smartphone application. You have message queue. So with the sharded relational database, you have to handle. If you want to do analytical stuff, you have to build a complicated ETL to store the data into the data warehouse and later doing the query for your data insights. That's another overhead for you to maintain, to manage for your whole infrastructure. But with TiDB 3, again, seeing this picture is so straightforward because TiDB Serverless actually support both transactional and analytical workloads. Here's one of the benchmark we tested. So if you have MySQL running on AWS, which is RDS, and you are running against analytical query, the same analytical query on both RDS and the same data hosted on TiDB Serverless, we can achieve more than 60 times faster with our HTAP capability. So with our smart optimizer, with our two distinct storage layer, your infrastructure is just easier and your workloads is just faster. So lastly, another typical pattern in Web3 is data as a service architecture. You got the data from cross-chain analysis. You got from different types of applications. You have your assets management, and you also have external data consumers. To consolidate, to aggregate data, to store those data again with traditional database technology. To achieve the consistency, the scalability, you have to think about sharding. You have to do the primary, secondary stuff. But again, with TiDB Serverless, given we can scale, we have the built-in scalability, we can serve your workload demands. TiDB acts as the unified problem that seamlessly manage the data scalability and the availability needs for your Web3 applications without the overhead of maintaining multiple database shards. So in summary, the move to TiDB Serverless in Web3 context significantly simplifies your architecture. It allows you to focus on your business and making sure you have increased the efficiency and potentially lower the cost due to the reduced needs of manual database scaling and replication management. So let's talk about the cost efficiency. Here's the one of the data we are running every day inside our company, which is always inside. I got a screenshot from that application. So one story is like if customers move from the traditional RDS to TiDB Serverless from the data we observed, they can save up to 85% with our pay-as-you-go pricing. So today, if you try our TiDB Serverless, we also offer very gorgeous free quota. You can start free, and you only pay for the storage and the data processing you use. You never overspend with our spending limit functionality. Last but not least, we are empowering our developers from different types of industry and also for Web3 developers. We have different types of developer tools integration. We support different types of language. It's MySQL compatible. You can leverage existing MySQL industry, MySQL ecosystem tools. And if you are not familiar with our cloud database, TiDB Serverless, we have our comprehensive documentation. We provide the online courses. We have developer hub for you to explore different resources to get started. So if you are interested in TiDB Serverless, just scan the QR code or visit the URL here today. You can claim the free quota now and start building your application. All right, I hope that gives everybody an overview of TiDB Serverless. And with that, I'm going to introduce another speaker. I'm thrilled to introduce Yaohui from the Chainbase to talk about his company's journey in Web3 and the serverless technology.
Could you see the keynote?
Yes, I can see that.
Okay. Let's begin. Hi everyone. It's a real pleasure to be here with you all today. We are going to dive into some exciting stuff about Web3 data infrastructure, our breaking throughs solutions, and how we are making Web3 API easier and more efficient for teams of all kinds. I'm thrilled to share these insights and developments with you. First, let me introduce our company. Chainbase is an open Web3 data infrastructure for accessing, organizing, and analyzing on-chain data at scale. It helps people to better utilize on-chain data by combining rich data sets with open computing technologies in one data platform. Chainbase's ultimate goal is to increase data freedom in crypto. Not more than 5,000 developers actively interact with our platform, and there are over 200 million data requests per day as they integrate Chainbase into their data backend and the main workflow. Additionally, we are working with about 10 top-tier public chains as first-tier validator and managing over $500 million tokens as a validator provider. In Chainbase products, TiDB is mainly used or planned to be used in two features. One is the Web3 API, and the other one is the SQL API. Now let's dive right into one of the key aspects of our discussion today, the Web3 API. The Web3 API is an API suite that simplifies your Web3 development process with seamless access to on and off-chain data. This means whether you are building an NFT marketplace, a decentralized finance platform, or any other blockchain-based platform application, our Web3 API stands ready to provide you with the essential data support. To achieve this, we identified the key issues that needed addressing. First, the need for high concurrency point query and aggregate query capabilities, scaling challenges, especially at bottlenecks, and the crucial requirements to reduce operational costs. To tackle these challenges, the role of TiDB has been indispensable. First, we are leveraging the combined strengths of TiDB and TiFlash. This powerful duo outperforms traditional databases like MySQL and PostgreSQL, particularly in high concurrency point queries and aggregate queries. Secondly, TiDB Serverless technology introduces automatic scaling capabilities. This means we can swiftly scale up to meet performance demands and equally scale down during quarter periods for optimizing costs. Lastly, the managed operations of TiDB Serverless allow us to focus more on our core business, ensuring that our development resources are utilized where they matter most. Well, our Web3 API defined and fine-tuned by Chainbase provides a comprehensive dataset catering to a broad range of applications. We recognize that sometimes our users have more specific requirements. This is where the SQL API comes into play. The SQL API is our answer to those unique tailored needs that raise outside the scope of the standard Web3 API. Moving on to our SQL API, we have recognized that in certain specialized SQL cases, there were critical issues that needs addressing because the SQL runs directly on ClickHouse. This includes handling slow SQL runs, which often suffer from high latency, addressing instances where high concurrency leads to query failure in ClickHouse, and ensuring that SQL queries run successfully on ClickHouse without expected failures. To combat these challenges, we are actively upgrading our architecture by leveraging a stream processing architecture and utilizing TiDB's capabilities for accelerating point queries. We aim to significantly enhance our system. Our upgraded architecture now supports full streaming write and read, as well as ordered streaming reads. This advancement ensures that we can maintain the freshness of not only the raw data, but also the abstract data and the user-defined data size. It is a comprehensive approach that guarantees the freshness and accuracy of the data across the entire spectrum of our data platform. Moreover, we have transformed the way SQL operations are conducted. The original SQL executions, which run directly on the database, have now been converted into a streaming data transformation job. The outcome of this is then efficiently directed or synced into TiDB, allowing the SQL API to access the data already directly from there. This pivotal shift in our architecture means that users can now access a SQL API that is not only low latency, high concurrency, but also boosts high availability. These improvements are designed to ensure faster QPS, greater reliability, and enhanced freshness of data. It's a step forward in our commitment to delivering top-tier, efficient data solution in the Web3 landscape. That's all. Thanks.
Start with introducing about the Canyon 3 a little bit more. So basically, we're helping. So we founded last year. So now we are about 2-year-old. So at the beginning, we start to focus on helping those developers in Web3 and especially those multi-blockchains to develop some we so-called the next-gen business and the next-gen DApp, which means we want to help them in at least 3 ways. First, we want to help them to much easier to develop on blockchain data. As we all know that we have a lot of the blockchains and we have a lot of the platforms that aim providing you to, to be connected and but that's also creating the problem of data segmentation. And as our friends from the Chainbase introduced earlier, we need some good data solutions to helping those applications building faster and more efficient. And secondly, we also helping those app developers to using the emerging technologies such as large language model and big data and like streaming data into their application development and the application scenario. And also, we are also aims to helping those future developments and the future applications to accelerating their business and find the right user and acquire those user more effectively. Okay, so let's get into our product. So now we have 3 product lines under Canyon 3 ecosystem. First is typography AI, which is coming very late. So typography AI has been launched in Q3 of this year, which is 3-4 months ago. But now it's already acquired like 260K users on the platform to be registered. And now we have 2K to 3K DAU per day. And we have been iterated for a couple of the versions. So basically, it's helping Web3 users to learn the Web3 knowledges, informations, and all those data more easily, more intuitively. And we also help user to be connected to those Web3 protocols products like Uniswap or doing a security check without leaving the platform. So yeah, maybe I can just share you guys in the screen and how that typography is actually work here. So before I step into the room, I was doing trying to prepare my presentation. So I asked what is PingCAP and the TiDB. Then we got an answer here. And then obviously PingCAP is a very unique database solution compared to other existing competitors. And this is also the reason we are using PingCAP. Later on, I will explain the detail, but I'm just trying to showing you guys how that you can start a research or analysis task into in typography. So once you ask any question, then the prompt will go through our agent, our multi-agents, and our vertical database, and our knowledge graph. And then some of the searching even reaching out to Google or Bing. So you will get a very consolidated data over here. And also you can trace back the resource, where are those data come from, with more details. And also you can preview those resources, but that's not the suggested case. Better solution is you can keep asking the diving question to follow up questions to follow up more details. So I started to ask, what is the relationship between KN3 network and TiDB? And then you get the answer. And also you can ask, what's so different from TiDB and other database solution? So basically it tells me first, it's a distributed architecture. That's a very standardized solution for cloud-based data service. But I think the most unique part of the TiDB is the HTAP architecture, because it helps you to solving your transactional data processing problem and analytical data processing problem in one place. So it's so-called hybrid transaction analytical processing structure. And this helps us a lot to reduce our DevOps cost and our architecture redesigning cost. And I will explain the case later. But as you can see, there are a lot of the uniqueness and the differentiation from TiDB. Yeah, so this is our first flagship product called the Typography AI. It connects the Web3 data and the Web3 application seamlessly. And you can even call out the Uniswap here, the trading panel, when you decided to buy some tokens or buy some NFTs. And then you can also, let's say you want to check someone's profile if you met a friend called Wenqing today. And then you probably want to know what exactly Wenqing has done on the blockchain. And probably he got some vote in the snapshot. And then you can see what's the interest of the DAO or communities that he has contributed to. Or if he has attended some events, then you can see a lot of the credentials generated in the past couple of years. And then you can dive in any details to traverse into any Web3 platforms. And then you can always come back and continue in the one conversation and enjoy your Web3 experience. And so back to the conversation, right? So back to our topic, what PingCAP actually help us in this way. Before we build Typography AI and also TopScore, I'll explain the use case later. We met basically three types of problems. First is we have a mixed task of analytical task assignment, like you need to spend like 1 minute or even 2 minutes or longer time to complete your SQL. That's a very long time. So it's not possible to giving the real-time feedback for any user request through the API. So those kind of the computation task, we call that AP. And also we have some real-time data service like graphing data. Like you want to check if someone is connected with some NFT or someone is owning a ENS or any other on-chain credentials. Those data are small, but they want to acquire it as soon as they can get. So this is so-called the transactional processing. But sometimes those demands is coming with very significant traffic. So the problem for this kind of assignment is how to handle the workload, like a traffic load. Second type of the problem is we also providing those data service to our enterprise partners. One of the use case I will explain later is we help the model to build their analytical dashboard to tracking those NFT holders, if they're selling or holding, if they're buying more, and are those NFT transferred into the new user or existing user. And we needed to, settle those very customizable data into dashboard and make it easy to flexibly to be developed in the future. So that caused another problem, because when our database, the data schema is designed for certain generic purpose, but then when we are facing those customizable issue or problems, technical problems, we need to rebuild the schema, or at least to rebuild something to be possible for the flexibility. But PingCAP or TiDB Serverless helped us a lot on that. And then also development difficulty will be a problem, because sometimes we like some new database technologies. We like many tools come up lately, but it causes a lot of problem in the migration and the integration. So that will be the third type of challenge. All right, so let me dive into the first type of challenges, which is, so we have K-Transformer, which is helping people building the data query workflow, like writing the SQL or graph query in K-Transformer platform. And you can deploy that workflow into our DevOps process. Then it can run in every day or every hour, even every 10 minutes if you want. So that's very computation intensive task. And also we have a top score, which is calculating people's credits, with so-called credits or reputation on different platforms. Let's say Lens or Snapshot or PoApp or other social platforms. And that will also be calculated by daily or weekly. Every time giving the size of the fan base is large, so the computation task will be very heavy. So that's one thing. And on the other side, we have those data query, which allows the user to query live data from the live blockchain. And also we have a typography AI, which is logging users' live chatting data, so that we can doing the pre-preparation for the analytical large language model to process it and analyze it later on. So that's kind of a streaming data service. It requires a high time intensive. So how could we collaborate these two dimensions together, right? So before we know PingCAP or HTAP's architecture, normally in a mature company, they were building two different layers to handle. One is for those computation resource intensive purpose, and one for time purpose. But then when we start to knowing HTAP, and then the architecture giving us a lot of flexibilities play around it. And we don't need to worry too much about should we put more resource on A or B. And because it offers you any future future possibility to expand on each dimension, very simple and very scalable. So that is very suitable for the startups who has which, when startup building their products, sometimes they're trying to pivoting from one to another. So the data flow will be changing all the time. So that leaves the possibility to your tech team. And so I specifically draw the tentative architecture graph here. As you can see, before we use TiDB, we have a pipeline to go through the to solving the real-time or streaming data service. But also we have those periodical post-processing tasks being bridged from PostgreSQL, and then we caching those output of the post-processing task into MongoDB and S3, depends on how we want to deliver the data. So it's kind of like two ways to handle it. But once we have the TiDB, so TiDB is not only being the primary, secondary database, but also everything calculated and prepared after the periodical operation, it will store back to the TiDB. And when next time we want to use this data or building new features to want to recalculate this data, we can always build in the new schema and new layers on top of it. And so before we use TiDB, we use Postgre, we use MongoDB, and partially we use the Neo4j. But then after we use TiDB, many of the tasks has been consolidated into TiDB, even though we still need some like graphing data for the serving layer, but in the computation layer, we pretty much put everything into it. So that gives us a lot of the relief on the backend and the DevOps. Right. So let me switch to the next one. Another feature that we start to using this year, started with Q1, is the serverless feature. It was a experimental feature when we were using, but now I think serverless is going public and it's quite stable. And some of our production is using serverless feature right now. One of the cases we customized a dashboard for MaoDao. The MaoDao team want to track how many people are holding the NFT and who is holding which Mao NFT, and what are those profiles, backgrounds, and how was the volume and everything about this NFT. It's quite simple, except you need to leave a good space for the future development, and you want to leave the variety for the future uncertainty. So we decided to connect the original dedicated server to a dedicated database and having a sort of the mirror in the serverless. So my suggestion is, if you have some experimental or early stage feature that you want to build and you don't know if this is going to work or if it is going to have the future development or re-architecting, then you can always use serverless, because it's not only elastic and scalable, and also the cost will be very nice to very friendly to startup. Because when you start to launching your first alpha version, right, sometimes the traffic is not that high. As long as you want to get more user feedback, then the testing period could be 3 months or even longer. Then if you're using the dedicated solution, it might be a very high fixed cost, right? But serverless offers you the variety on that. So this is, I'm strongly support those or suggest that those early stage startup to focus on this one too. And also it's very development friendly. MySQL compatible, this is one thing. And also very easy to migrate from the PostgreSQL. These also relieve us a lot in the migration. And I think TiDB in the official website then providing some effective tools that you can directly use. So it's very simple. And their architecture design is I think they're like compatible is one of their key targets at the designing. So this is something we should focus on. And also it's compatible to many programming languages. So if your team is using Python, Rust, Go, I think it's very compatible with the TiDB. And yeah, so just to give a summarize here, the primary benefit I think we get from using TiDB from all the way back from the beginning is to help you optimize your technological business decision. sometimes we when we put the payroll aside, there will be a lot of the good tools to use. But when you put into a production and thinking about your cost and your revenue and your trend and your curve, future curve of the business, then there will be a lot of the constraint to make the technical decision. And I think PingCAP, in a way, is very effective on this perspective overall. But I think if you dive in, and then I already told from the use case, cost flexibility will be a very important perspective. And also, especially when serverless come out, it's very friendly to those experimental features. And after all, we get a lot of supports from PingCAP and or TiDB team, not only from the technological team. The technical team give us a lot of support in the migration and the integration, and also sometimes providing the lessons for our developer team, and also we collaborated together to promote our product and reaching out to the developers in the dev community. I think this is one of the non-technical value that TiDB always focus on bringing to their customer. So in the future, from the KN3 side, we're going to build a large ecosystem level user behavioral analytical and a profile center. And this center will be consolidate all those data from different applications together. And it will be a very sophisticated data architecture that we needed to design. So we're happy to collaborate with PingCAP on the sense to cooperation, right? Okay, so this is my presentation for today. And thanks a lot for PingCAP to invite us to share this interesting information. And hope you guys enjoy. Any question I will take. Thank you.
Yeah, with that, I think coming next, we are going to do the panel discussion. We still have Thomas and Yaohui here, and I will be the moderator for these panel discussions. So the questions are all about Web3 industry and how the technology involves here can help the business in Web3. So first of all, I think it's a very classic question since we have the Web3 industry, but I think it's still worth asking. The question is about the impact of decentralization on traditional business models. How you guys foresee decentralized technology like blockchain and Web3 applications transforming traditional business models and the customer interactions in the near future? Can you provide examples from your experience or your predictions? I think maybe Yaohui, can you start first, and we can transfer to Thomas later.
The fairer distribution of funds and the resources or enhanced collaboration and community building in Web3 may have an impact on open source.
Yes, totally. Yes, that's actually I think the core spirit of all this infusion two communities together. What about you, Thomas?
First, I agree with the open source, and also there will be expansion is open data, right? So in Web3, as we all know, that data is stored on blockchain, so it's fully open to everybody. So this create a very large disruption in the business level, because in traditional data business area, either you can make your exclusive data as a product, or you can provide a sort of exclusive solution like a PingCAP or many other are doing. But in the Web3, since the data is open, so only left one choice. Either you can providing a solution like nobody else can do, or nobody else can do better than you. But that's not also not very effective, because open data sometimes come with open source. So that means if your solution being open source, then nobody else is going to, pay the money to you. So that leads to a problem. How do we build a new type of a business model on blockchain? So I think, so I just give some possibility, right? So first is rather than take the value from the exclusive, maybe we can considering to take the value of the connections, right? So sometimes the scale of economy is all about the size. So if we can make the blockchain being more connected and more connected in different dimensions, then the value of the network will be surpass the value of the data itself as an informative sense. That's one thing. So value of the network, and also the data on blockchain is not also informative, but also sometimes proof of value. So we're gonna not only if we can providing some data solutions can helping the actual value transferring, that would be nice. So, but many of the value has been introduced there and having their fixed vehicles in the traditional world. So there will be two things will be very new. First is the credibility and the reputation. That's something we can be in trust and stored on blockchain, but it's very hard to trust and the word trust on legacy institutions like the credit card. If your credit is being issued by a bank, then sometimes it's very hard to get other banks to be validated. And another is the liquidity of the credits. Right. So if the data is so if the data being proved as a loyalty of someone, it's very hard to transfer among different applications because they're not acknowledge each other. But on blockchain, since we know we can trace the originate of the credibility, so we can trust the generation of the credibility. So that liquidity is going to come out. Yeah, I'm just popping up some ideas here.
Nice. Yes, those are really great ideas. I think open data plus open source definitely leads to tons of opportunities. I really like the metaphor about the credit card, I would say traditional credit card industry today. Personally, for me, I got tons of credit cards from different banks, and I'm starting thinking in a future world, once everything is backed by Web3, what I need to learn is what I need to bring every day is just a digital wallet. That significantly simplifies my life. So I'm looking forward to that day. Thanks for the great insights. All right, then let's move to the second question is about the challenges and the innovation in Web3 involving landscape. Given the ideas you guys just shared, I think the nature of Web3 ecosystem is developing, is under development, high speed kind of a mechanism. What are the key challenges when the business are facing when trying to innovate or maintain competitiveness? How do technology and the decentralized system can play a role? You guys mentioned open source, open data. Everybody's working on that. How you guys maintain competitiveness? How you guys leverage the technology? That's something I believe the audience want to learn from you guys. Maybe this time we start from Thomas.
Yes, I think the accessibility will be one of the problem. It has been existed for a while. So we see many wallet teams are solving this problem to helping broader audience to access to it. and I honestly believe that will be a huge barrier. And also, I think the way to educate, in Web3, one of the reasons there are a lot of the barriers is because we got too many terminologies, right? So even myself in today, if I completely off the internet for 3 months and come back, I will say I have to take about a week to catch up everything. It's running a lot of concepts so fast. So, but now we mostly rely on Google and all those traditional portal site like a CoinGecko and those news medias, and sometimes those contents are not very accurate, or sometimes because it's too commercial, or you can see a lot of the introduction for a brand, a company, a product, but not many people tell you when you want to buy a token, then you should keep your wallet safe. And why it's safe? Because this and that, and how to keep safe, this and that. So I think education is one of the weak part of current adoption, mass adoption. So that's why we specifically building typography AI, because it's the totally different ways to interact for a human interact with internet, right? You just talking, chatting, and keep asking the follow-up questions, and interactively, then you can learn more about it. So we believe this should not be only being applied in ChatGPT or Perplexity. We should also design for not only one but many product and the platforms like this kind, very easy to use, very intuitive in Web3, so that our product service protocols can easily connect to them. Yeah.
Right, yeah, thanks for sharing. That resonated me a lot. I think it's all about the product experience, lower the barrier, making sure we have the accessibility for different types of users, and leveraging AI to make everybody easier to interact with the system, no matter it's Web3 or whatever. I think that makes the company, the project, the product keeps competitive in this landscape. And yeah, that's really a great idea. Nice. So how about you, Yanghui? Any ideas?
I just agree with Thomas. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Nice. Looks like we three reached agreement. And I think even we are working on different industry, and I think we are facing the same challenging, and we are leveraging the new technology trend to keep our product easy to use for our customers, which is great. Cool. Last question. I guess we have a few minutes left, but I still have my last question. Is about the predictions for the future of Web3 and serverless technology. As we looking towards to the future, what are your predictions for the next breakthrough in Web3 industry? How do you anticipate serverless architectures and the database evolving to meet the needs of these emergency Web3 innovations? So maybe a short question is like, given I'm a product manager working in database industry, what would be your requirements in the future you guys are seeing, to us? That's something I like to learn. So this time maybe I will start with Yaohui.
Oh, okay. We're just concerned about the serverless DB can reduce the cost of our operational management, or the auto scaling can let us to meet the high demands on the faster QPS. I think this must be Sorry, I don't know how to speak in English.
No problem. Later you can send a note to me. I will keep that secret so that TiDB Serverless will hold the secret to become competitive. But I hear from you, auto scaling and the cost efficiency. Those are the things we are working hard to, support different types of business. Definitely Web3 is some of the things we are specifically looking into. Then how about you, Thomas?
Obviously, I think it's serverless. We love serverless for now, and there will be some good improvements that we can do better. Actually, we have those continuous conversation with the PingCAP team all the time. I remember last time we talked about large language model, AI, right? So when ChatGPT come into the play, many companies trying to find a new opportunity in their own business. And I said, okay, maybe PingCAP should considering about building their own vertical data service, right? Because, right now we have a PyCon, we have Marvels, but I don't know, because I don't know what exactly the key competency of those solutions, but I guess PingCAP can do something like that. But also, when we start to using more and more about large language model, we realize that only with the semantic data is not going to make the fly. Sometimes you need to reinforce the logic for the large language model. So that means we need to have facilitate the solution for knowledge graph. And even in the future, I think the time sequential data solution will be one very useful to incorporate with large language model. So maybe those are some features that PingCAP can provide in the future. Yeah, but I'm looking for everything you come up new. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, I can share some secret here, but yeah, our team is actually experimenting some of the things you just mentioned, but it's still in very early stage. But later, I guess we can catch up. Hopefully, that will be somehow loved, validated by you or by further customers from the Web3 industry. Nice. Thanks for the suggestions. Cool. All right, I guess we are just in time, and we just finished the panel discussion. Thanks for Yaohui and Thomas for the great inputs, great insights. Those really help. I believe I personally super excited about the innovations from the conversation coming from your end. So again, thanks for the audience participants. Stick with us till the end. We are going to share great news. TiDB PingCAP just launched a new program. It's Early Bird program. So basically, you can come to our webpage by scan the QR code or visit the URL below. It's pingcap.com/TiDB Serverless Early Bird program, which is super easy to remember. So by visiting the page, you can see we were offering customers up to $3,000 credits, and we will offer you 24+7, standard support plan. So which means, if you are migrating whatever application to TiDB Serverless, or you want to initiate a new business running up on TiDB Serverless, you can get, huge amount of discount here. You can get the best support from the team inside of the TiDB database team. So just scan the QR code, visit the URL, sign up a form. We will reach out to you to help you transform your business onto TiDB Serverless with great discounts. And most importantly, we have limited seats. So we will do a first come, first serve mechanism. Don't hesitate. Just come to sign the form. It's just a few lines of things. Let us know what do you guys want to do, and we will help your business. Oh, okay. I'm seeing someone is signing up the form again. We have limited seats, so act fast. you will claim your credits building your own business. All right, then that's it for today. Again, thanks Yaohui Thomas and also Dr. Zhang Yi from Web3 industry. Lots of great discussion, lots of great insights. I hope I can see you guys in the near future. And appreciate everyone joined the webinar. I will call it today and have a good day, have a good night. Talk to you later.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Shiying. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, all of you.